episode 59 of the Beardcaster. My name is Scott Sakura, and I am the Beardcaster. Welcome to a podcast all about beards, mustaches, and the bearded culture with all the fun stuff that goes along with it. It's about the facial hair lifestyle we live, from our daily lives in the world around us, and how we deal with life. So please join me as I share the stories about these people and hear how they are using their facial hair to do great and fun things. Welcome once again. My name is Scott Sakura. This is the Beardcaster podcast. Thank you for checking it out. Today's episode is with Ryan Gore, who is the president of the Derby City Whisker Club, and they are hosting a really cool event coming up on January 27th called Whiskermania 3. Dun, dun, dun. Yay. It's awesome. And it's at the Diamond Pub Concert Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you're not doing anything, why don't you come on out and go, compete. Come on. Don't be a chicken. Just go. Everyone is going to be there. This is like the big kickoff to the year for the big competitions and stuff like that. So check out this interview with Ryan. We talk about a lot of cool things about the club, and we talk about a lot of cool things about the event. And I hope you really enjoy it. So if you want any more information about the podcast, you can go to thebeardcaster.com. You can subscribe to it via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Podbean. There's tons of different ways. So I easily help you out there. And if you want to get a hold of me via social media, I have links to all my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that bullshit. And you can find me there. So I really think that's about all the stuff I have for you today, other than if you guys by some chance are in the market for some sort of new product to try in your beard, might I suggest Pulpo Beard Oils. You can go to pulpobeardoils.com and check out all the really awesome products they have there. They got some really cool merch, like as in like shirts and jewelry and all that cool stuff. I mean, even if you're not into checking the oils out, definitely check out their wear, because they got some really cool t-shirts and hooded sweatshirts and hats and just all some really, really cool kick-ass design stuff. I have a couple t-shirts and stuff. I love wearing them, and when I wear them out, everyone always comments about how cool they are. So by some chance, once again, if you're interested, you can enter coupon code TheBeardcaster at your checkout to get 15% off your order. So check out pulpobeardoils.com for more information. That was a fun commercial. I had fun doing that. And the thing is that's not even a commercial. I'm just doing it because I like their stuff, and I love Jorge and the products they put out. And you know, if you're interested in wanting me to talk about your stuff, check any of your stuff out, please email me, scott@thebeardcaster.com. We can talk and, work something out. So, but without further ado, let's just jump right into this episode with Ryan Gore. And let's get going, and action. You're ready to roll? Are you nervous?
Not really. This is actually my second telephone interview for Whiskermania. I did one for our local newspaper Friday.
Ooh, what paper was that?
Courier Journal.
Courier Journal out of where is it out of?
Louisville, Kentucky. That's our major newspaper here.
Louisville, Kentucky. Is that the home of the Louisville Slugger?
Yep.
Oh, I was just going to make a bad joke there, but I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, am I going to make the Louisville Slugger joke and it's just going to flop? But I didn't even realize that they were actually from there.
Yeah. The factory is in downtown Louisville. Actually, the front of the building has several story tall baseball bat.
Is it made out of real wood?
The baseball bat, the big one, no, I think it's like metal.
Oh, that's aluminum.
Yeah. But like, that's the Slugger. Well, I'm not 100% sure if that's where they make all Louisville Sluggers, but it's also a museum.
Oh, okay.
That people can go to, like, you go to it, you watch a video, then you, get a tour of how they make the bat. Then you get a little free bat at the end.
That's what I was going to ask. Did they give you a free sample at the end of that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a 1.5 foot long little baseball bat.
Oh, like one you can just beat your little brother over the head with?
Oh, yeah.
That's actually what my grandfather used to own a gas station back in the 70s and 80s and stuff. And they had this little baseball bat that they used to, if someone came in to rob the place, they would pull it out from behind the counter and try to clock the guy over the head.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, these are serious, like wooden bats. Like, yeah, you could definitely hurt someone with a little one. Like, it's almost like a requirement if you ever grow up in Louisville, you're gonna take a field trip to the Louisville Slugging Museum.
How many bats do you have?
Oh, I think I have probably 2 or 3 little ones. I actually have a full size one that my guy pulling out right now. It's I got it when at my last company after I was there for 5 years. They got me a custom engraved one.
Ooh.
And it's a full size like bat. I think my buddy Steve was saying like, oh yeah, this is he's a huge baseball nerd, and he was just like, oh yeah, that's the Babe Ruth brand of it.
Now, yeah, but like, what do you guys don't even have a baseball team there, like, right?
We have a minor league team. Yeah. We have the Louisville Bats.
Oh, geez, are they like black, like flying vampire bats, or like are they actual bats?
No, it's the vampire bats.
Ooh,
it's the mascot.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, just so everyone knows, I'm talking to Ryan Gore, who's the president of the Derby City Whisker Club. How you doing tonight, Ryan?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So I wanted to tell you real quick, we just ate dinner and we found these all plant burgers. Have you heard of these?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was vegetarian for a couple of years. I used to do like soy burgers and stuff.
Well, I don't know what these are, but they're all plant based, and it's like they made of a synthetic meat out of plants. And I was very apprehensive about this, but we made them, and I was absolutely stunned. They tasted exactly like a real burger. I could not believe it.
Oh, nice. Were they the Impossible burgers?
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I just took them out of the thing and threw the wrapper away.
Yeah.
My wife told me how to cook them.
Yeah. I used to, when I was in college for a couple of years, like I had a bunch of friends who were vegan, and they kind of peer pressured me to go vegetarian.
Jeez. And
I was vegetarian for a couple years, and I did all that kind of stuff. Like there's one corn with a Q, like Quorn, and it's chicken, fake chicken, and that stuff was like that tasted almost better than chicken to me. Still did. And it's made out of I think they may say it's made out of fungus.
Fungus.
Yeah. But I have a person I know who used to live here, now he lives in Portland, Oregon, and he, I think every once in a while he like tries to get into those class action lawsuits, and he got like a check from Quorn because I guess they weren't as honest about what it was made with. I think it was like made with a mode or something.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. Yeah, it's just the way it's so weird now to like, as we were talking about like how our grandparents used to like grow all these vegetables, and then they used to can them all up, or they used to jar them up, and you go in their basement and there'd be all these like just homemade things that, no preservatives. They would eat off the land. They would kill their own chickens, kill their own pigs, and all that stuff. And like now everything that we eat is all like over processed, over steroided, or growth hormones or whatever. So now it's like so hard to go to your grocery store and like actually get like honest to goodness, wholesome, good for you food.
Yeah.
But that's not why we're here tonight. I'm just flowing with the topic. We're just talking.
Yep.
And hey, man, that's just how it goes sometimes. Maybe this is just going to be the almost beef podcast. So,
yeah.
But, so anyways, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to Ryan tonight, because we got the Whiskermania 3 coming up in a couple weeks, and I kind of wanted to talk to him about that and find out what that's all about, and, kind of hear the details about the event. But first, I want to kind of get to know who Ryan Gore is, other than Al's great nephew, right? Was that right?
Yeah.
My Uncle Al, but no, bad joke.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of find out like how you got all started in the quote unquote bearding world, and where your start came from. How did you get involved in, like, why did you start growing a beard?
I think at first it started I just wanted to change. I had a buddy, Catfish, who would tell me, like, man, Gore, you need to grow a beard. And then just one day, like I was like, I'm gonna do no shave November, and finally like see what happens. Like when I was in high school, I used to like not shave for long periods of time, and it always looked like crap, and I would get made fun of and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, I'll shave regularly. It's not, I'm never really going to have one. Then, I did the no shave November 1st. Towards the and at the end, like I looked at myself and I'm like in the mirror, I was like, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe I'll keep it going.
That's it. You're like, man, I look handsome. I got to keep going.
Oh yeah. And and there, I mean, started growing and started not looking bad, and kept on going. And then
now, what kind of style were you doing? Were you just doing a full beard, or were you doing a goatee, or what was your growth?
Honestly, when I started out, I mean, I was doing like full beard. Only funny thing, like first couple competitions, like they didn't have like full beard style mustache.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like I found out like, I could style mustache looking all right, but I was doing just like the short beard, like under 4 inches, first few times. And then I think it may have been like the third or fourth competition I went to, I did full beard style mustache, and then it's kind of been that since then.
All right. Now what's our time span here? Like how long ago was this?
I would say I started growing probably towards the end of 2012. I joined the club, started growing the beard. It started looking good. Then I had started styling my mustache, like not even really knowing about like competitive bearding or anything, mm-hmm. But I knew like, styled mustache. I was styled it, and I went to like a show at this bar here in Louisville, and got this guy. I started talking to these people. They knew this one guy who had a beard who was involved with the Whisker Club. He gave me a card and told me, he's like, "Oh, come out." And so happened, just like I didn't really think much of it. And then kind of some things like, I was dating this girl at the time, and we were kind of getting more distant. I was getting like distance with my friends. It's like, maybe I need something new socially. Mm-hmm. So I came to my first meeting. Everyone was super nice, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is, really positive. Like, and I started going to more and more, and they had mentioned, actually, it was a funny story was,
am I going to laugh?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's mildly entertaining.
Yeah. Mildly entertaining. It's loosely, I guess, well, the person who approached me and gave me a card was the guy, Chris Elder, still involved in the club. We're still close friends and everything. He told me about competitive bearding, and I was just like, that's different. Not really initially vibing with the idea, but they were actually going to Cleveland to go to the, I guess your guys are the Beards of the Northwest second competition in Medina.
Yeah. That would have been the Buckshot Beard Bonanza.
Yeah. So like a group of people like from Derby City piled into a van and drove up there like the week after I found out about the club. And then they had,
welcome to a wonderful snowstorm that you guys had to drive into.
Oh, yeah. I just remember we got back and like people are just like, I don't think we will ever like do travel in a van that packed again.
Yeah,
for that long a time.
Dude, I remember that was horrible. I mean, the competition was fun, but that night was just, the weather was just abysmal. It was horrible. Like I was so nervous for all these people that just drove from all over the place to come there, and it was a fluke of a snowstorm that night.
Oh man. Oh, that sounds bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, then like I think the next meeting I went to was like the meeting after that comp, and people talked about like how it was and everything like that. And then a couple months into the club, there was a competition in Columbus, Indiana. And it wasn't a big one. It was like what we used to call like a strip mall bar competition, because for some reason we were going to a few comps that were actually in bars located in strip malls.
Yeah, that's where our first one was.
Oh, and went to that competition. Like, there was a group of us that piled into a van. We drove up to Columbus, Indiana, which, if you've never been, like, Columbus, Indiana, like, if you're from Louisville, kind of what's notable about it is it's a major, like, stop on your way to Indianapolis, or if you're going past Indianapolis to Chicago. They have, like, this weird bridge that the highway becomes like this weird structured bridge. And I never actually ventured into the city or the town, but it was a beautiful little town. If you actually get off and go into it, a lot of great architecture. I think that's a huge thing there. We ended up, like, going to some brewery pizza place. I was the one member at the time who didn't drink at all. So, like, I got a giant, like, craft soda, and everyone tried that. It was good. Then we went to a little old-timey ice cream shop where they did, like, the malts and everything like that.
That sounds like a fancy little town.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then we went to the competition. I mean, that's where I met, like, Taxi Phil. I think it was, like, Taxi Phil, Patrick Fetty, who went with us, and then Doug Geiger from King Handlebar were the judges.
Ooh, that's
for that little one.
That's a nice little group of judges right there.
Yeah. And then that's where I saw, like, oh, wait, there's these other clubs out there too, because a bunch of people from Beard and Loathing out of Richmond, Kentucky, they had like 10 or 15 people there, and it's like, oh wow, this is pretty big, or this is, something that goes on. And I was like, you know what, I'll go to the next one. I think the next one was it was a Cincinnati Beard Barons competition. This was the one they did before they started doing the big whisker revival at the Southgate Revival House.
Yeah.
This one was it was in Cincinnati at a huge, like, old theater, and it was the same day as their Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah,
up there. And that was, like, the biggest comp at the time I had went to, because that was one, like, you had people from all over Ohio there, from all the Kentucky clubs, all out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's back in the day when you're talking, like, you're going back to, like, 2013 ish.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of these, a lot of the clubs were a lot smaller back then, and everyone. I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you call it, like, the strip mall bars, and a lot of clubs, only really had the option of having competitions at small, mom and pop bars or whatever. And I mean, we still do it now just because of the easiness and convenience of it, but then everyone kind of outgrows that, and they get into these bigger venues because it's more of a bigger event, and it's a small bar can't accommodate what we as beard clubs bring into it for
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I mean, and that says a lot about how much it's grown in the past 5 years. I mean, I can't think of a competition that I've been to that's been at a smaller size venue. I mean, they've all been like nice, big, just glorious venues and stuff like that, which is, and everyone's kind of trying to, like, outdo each other by going outside of the box and trying to do, and that's something I want to discuss with you in a little bit when we get to that point. But, so then how did you get about into becoming the president of the club?
I think what ended up happening, the Whisker Club itself, technically we've been around since 2011, but it started really out as kind of an online thing. It was a page started by our founder, whose name's Austin Lunn. He was originally from New Jersey. And him and his wife moved here to Louisville, and I think he was familiar with, like, the Garden State facial hair club. And he started, like, the online presence. And then Patrick Fetty, who, he originally came from Northern Kentucky, moved to Louisville for school, and him and his sister had been involved in actually doing competitive bearding. And, Patrick kind of hooked up with Austin and say, hey, let's actually have a meeting. So they had their first meeting and kind of rolled from there. But in reality, the club itself was just almost like a strict, like, group of friends, actually, I guess it'd be unfair to say group of friends, because, like, the thing about the club is, like, most people didn't really know each other outside before joining the club. But it was kind of strictly like social thing. We just meet once a month, hang out kind of stuff. And then there was like the structure just wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And, the meetings were just like, be a couple people, be a bunch of new people. And I had like, there was
just spit it out, man. Spit it out.
There was a conversation. I don't know if you remember when Phil Olsen was doing the World Beard Mustache Championships in Portland.
Oh, yes, I do.
And then there was a lot of beard clubs signing on to boycott it.
Yes, yeah.
And we had a discussion, the club, whether or not we should sign it. And it was at the time it was Austin and Patrick kind of running things. Mm-hmm. Then they brought me and also Chris Elder into the conversation. And I was like, they respect me enough to actually put me to this conversation. And then I started kind of saying like, hey, maybe we should do like, just have what we call our infamous war room meeting, where we sat down and we actually put some rules and guidelines and like
make some bylaws.
Bylaws, exactly, together. So we had a meeting and we put it together. Originally, it was just me. Like, can we just like put some rules down of like, we'll always have a meeting at this time. We'll do this in a meeting, something like we'll always have meetings, all that stuff. And then Patrick was like, I really want to join the World Beard and Mustache Association, and we need to meet these requirements. So we actually wrote our bylaws and to meet some of the requirements by the World Beard and Mustache Association.
In fact, I think that's exactly the way our club worked too. We did the same thing.
Yeah. And I pushed for a lot for that meeting, and then we actually got down to the time we said, okay, this is going to be the not the elections, but the nomination meeting. Mm-hmm. The Austin nominated me as president, and no one else ran against me. So I guess people felt I would be good in that role.
Well, did you cry?
No, I didn't.
Damn.
I was a little bit nervous too, because
you don't know what to expect, especially when you're developing pretty much all of it together, and there's been no structure before that, and then all of a sudden you guys sit down, you make up these bylaws, some rules, and then you get thrown, pretty much into the fire and be like, all right, you're in charge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a little nervous at the beginning because also we had decided we're going to throw our first competition, Whiskermania 1.
Oh my gosh!
So I was, new president and going into setting up the planning meetings to do our first big competition.
Now, because not to interrupt here, but you're talking about your first competition. Competition. I sound like I'm Popeye, but your first competition, and I was the Whiskermania. Now, where did the whole concept and idea for this come up? Because I just think it's great.
Yeah. The first meeting, we were just going over ideas for names. And I always had this idea of doing like, I forgot which Royal Rumble was, but it was just like the poster was like a cartoon drawing of all the wrestlers just walking down the street. And I was like, oh man, would it be cool if we did like us all as cartoon characters and we call it the Louisville Beard Rumble. And we went through a bunch of ideas, and I think I may have just spurted out Whiskermania, and sounds like, and
beautiful
like,
name.
oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, and then when we were looking for a venue, me, Patrick, and Chris Elder, I had originally stumbled onto the Tim Faulkner Gallery because I used to live in the neighborhood that it was in, and I was just driving around and noticed like, oh, there's a coffee shop here now. So I went in, and then they were like, oh yeah, you walk around the gallery. So you go in the front, that's on Portland Avenue, and coffee shop, and then you go around the corner, and there's like a fairly large art gallery. Then you go through another door, and it's a giant venue.
Oh wow!
And I was like, oh, maybe we should talk to these guys about doing it, because there's different concert halls in Louisville, like mid-sized venues, but like they require money that we didn't really have. And so we talked to them, and like me, Patrick, and Chris walked in, and we just all instantly fell in love with the place. We were talking with the owners and stuff like that. And, it's a repurposed warehouse, turned into like an art gallery music venue. It was a 1,500 person capacity venue.
Ooh, that's a nice size.
Yeah. Huge stage and everything. They were like, okay, you guys want to put a date down? And we're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So we put a date down there. I was like, what's the name of the event? And Fitzpatrick was just like, Whiskermania. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll do that.
So,
and we just ran with it.
All right. So you guys got the event, all planned and everything. And I know you guys sat down and you got, you talked amongst yourself about your judges and all your different categories and all that stuff. And so how did the event turn out?
The first Whiskermania, I mean, it was just like, I was almost put to tears about just the response we had the first year. Cause, at first we were thinking about just doing something at a bar.
Yeah.
That maybe just like people from like, the Beard Barons, the Kentucky Club, they all come down. Well, we had almost 400 people show up.
Wow. Very awesome.
And included like, Dennis Morgan from, coming in from, I think either Washington or Oregon. We had Michael Wallage and his wife coming in from England. We had Alice Jelly, who came from England.
Wow.
Came the first year. And it's just like, wow. And it was a blur to me just because I was stuck in the back doing data entry with the scores.
Oh, you're that guy. Jeez.
Yeah. I volunteered to do that.
That's probably one of the worst jobs to have at a comp.
Yeah. I mean, it could definitely be difficult, but it has to be done.
Yeah. Now, did you guys, for this event, did you guys pick a charity? The first one?
Yes, the first one we went with Active Heroes, which is the charity we've raised money with for every year.
So when you hooked up with them, they're the charity you've stuck with.
Yes.
Now tell me about who they are and how you ended up getting hooked up with them.
So Active Heroes, I mean, basically their main goal is to work to end veteran suicide. Mm-hmm. And they try to find every method possible to do so. And it's a lot of right now they're doing a lot of therapeutical things. Like, they have a community center where they'll do acupuncture, massages. They've done music therapy. They're actually building a giant retreat, which is in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, which is it's directly south of Louisville. It's in the next county over. Mm-hmm. They'll have they have a horse farm where they could, people can go and take care of the horses, as a kind of their therapeutic method and stuff like that. And then they actually just opened, in New Albany, Indiana, which is the town that is directly northeast of Louisville, right across the Ohio River. So it's essentially, essentially like a suburb of Louisville, but it's in Indiana. All right. And they opened up a gym that it's like a public-private partnership where people you sign up for the gym, but then they also do a lot of classes and just programs for veterans.
All right.
Too. We originally found out about it. We were going to wrestling. And there's a local wrestler here, Michael Hayes. He is a veteran. He actually lost his leg over in Iraq, and we saw him wrestle. And we were like, "Oh yeah, this guy's cool." And he was selling Active Heroes merchandise. And I ended up talking with Troy, who is the founder, and he was super passionate and just like, we'd love to work with you guys. And they've just been a good partner since then.
Well, that's cool. I always like to hear those. I mean, it's a good. I mean, you guys pretty much ended up getting hooked up with them because of your general interest in wrestling, obviously.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I can kind of see how the ball started rolling in that direction of, the Whiskermania idea and, having it be that. So that's really cool. And it's cool to be able to find a charity that you can work with for multiple years.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been difficult for us up here. I mean, it's, you find one, you think you're doing good, and then it's like, it turns out that they're ungrateful, and it sucks because it's like, you want to help people out, but then it's like, you raise thousands of dollars for them, and they're just pretty much like, well, you give me the check, pat on the back, see you later. And it's like, it really stinks. And I mean, I've had that conversation with Chad Roberts from the RVA Beard League. And it's like, I think they finally locked in with someone over the past few years, but when you're starting out, we would just pick a different one every year because it was like, every year it just kind of stunk because you couldn't find a good charity to work for that you really felt like they cared that you were helping them, so yeah. I definitely applaud you guys for, obviously 3 years of working with this charity.
Oh yeah. And Troy and the Active Heroes team have been great. Like, last year they actually asked us to go to the opening of that new gym in New Albany. And Troy came up to us like, yeah, I want to let you guys know we're going to, they were giving us an award, which was awesome. And he basically just said to let you guys know, and he said in his speech before he brought us up, is the money that you raised at Whiskermania 2 was actually the seed money that started this place.
Now, how did that make you feel?
That was awesome. Like, to physically like say, okay, this is where our money went to, is this facility. And that was awesome. And then, Troy said over and over again, like, this is the funnest event you guys do for us.
Yeah, we hear that same thing too from a lot of people. I mean, it's like anytime you get someone new involved in it, it's always that this event's great. This is the funnest thing we do all year. We didn't realize that there were things like this out there.
Yeah.
I love hearing that because then it's like, then it just only helps fuel the fire of the clubs, of the events, and helps get them bigger and bigger every year.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, okay. So let's get up to speed. How did the second year go?
The second year, I still consider it success. I mean, the money we raised, Active Heroes is very excited about it. It was definitely a lower turnout than the year before. Because we had Whiskermania 1 was at the end of July. Great turnout. The venue is a repurposed warehouse that didn't have air conditioning.
Oh, I know all about that.
Yep. And it was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot, and people told us it was hot, and we're like, we can't do this event at around the same time at the same venue. So we were like, well, I think I was talking to Steel City to see, when they were doing theirs. 'Cause I knew they did it in October. They told me they were doing it towards the end of October. So we're like, oh, wait, we'll do it at the beginning of October. Well, our Whiskermania 2 was 2 weeks after the first Great American Beard Mustache Championships. It was the week before BAM St. Louis STL did their first competition. And it was 2 weeks before Cincinnati Beard Barons did their competition. And then you had Steel City. Then you had Detroit.
Yeah. That time of year, it gets like, once you get into June, July, then it all just bottlenecks into like, literally there's 2 competitions every weekend on East Coast, West Coast, in down the middle.
Yeah. And I mean, we didn't have as many people travel in for it, but I mean, it was still successful. We had 95 competitors. We had a great local response that year. But I mean, it still went off great. And I think it was a little bit more, I found it more of a success because we were a little bit more structured in just how, like, we laid out volunteers and how we did everything.
Well, that's because you learned from the year before. That's the golden rule. It's, every year it's going to get better and better because it gets easier and easier because you just have that more experience under your belt, and you have more people willing to help out. You have more people with better organizational skills that are willing to help, structure stuff for you too. So it gets easier every year.
Yeah, exactly. And, but then, we come in after that and we're like, well, we probably can't. Well, we did in July, we did in October, and I don't think we can do it in October again. So what's next? Well,
I will honestly say to you, as knowing that the competition's coming up in a few weeks at the end of January, you guys couldn't have picked a better time. It's like literally like the kickoff event for the year. Yeah.
What ended up happening too was, I don't know if you remember the old Lexington competition. I think it was called Whiskey Women.
I'm familiar with it. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I think at the end it was, they renamed it to Beards, Bourbon, Burlesque.
Oh, yes.
And Beers. They were, the guys who were doing that at the time basically were kind of not doing it anymore. And, we asked them like, well, if you're not going to do it, can we have that date? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah. And we're like, all right. So we won't do a Whiskermania in 2017, but we'll be the first one in 2018. And yeah, I see the response. Like I see people like, are you going to Louisville? Man, Louisville's gonna be awesome. And I'm like, awesome.
No, I absolutely agree. Cause as I was looking into like the event and all the information, I'm like, looking at the judges, looking at the people that are responding, I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this is like a top tier event. I mean, I was like, holy crap. I mean, it made me super excited about it because, and now just talking to you even a little bit more to hear how your first year went and how excited you guys were and how well you did. And then to hear how, your second year took a little nosedive a little bit, but was still good. Now you're going to go into your third year. And I anticipate this to be just as good, if not better than your first year. That's how I feel.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. We're hoping like, we definitely changed things up a little bit with using a new venue this time around.
Well, tell me about the new venue.
So Diamonds it's a mid-size like 800-person top music venue.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of bands.
That's a perfect size for this event.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember the old restaurant Jillian's.
It was a chain, right?
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure how big of a chain. I know there was one in Louisville and there was one in Covington, Kentucky, up in northern Kentucky. But the facility here, what it was is like a restaurant in the front, and it was like a huge adult arcade in the back, like a Dave and Buster's.
Oh yeah, ours was like more like a pool hall, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I do remember that. There was a few of them up here in the Cleveland area.
Mm-hmm. And it actually had a large basement, like a 12,000 to 1,200 person music venue in the basement too.
Oh,
wow. Then that whole company kind of shut down, and that building. Like the building's pretty cool. It's built around old concrete silos, and huge parking lot. Like it's like almost in a pit kind of thing. It's on the east side of downtown, like not too far from downtown. Pretty cool, like neighborhood, what we like call the Highlands. Mm-hmm. Lots of, if you go up Baxter Avenue to Bardstown Road, it's like lots of shops, lots of great restaurants. It's more centralized, whereas like our old venue was on the west side of downtown, just as far, and but not as close to a lot of things. So now it's this company, this place called Diamonds. They originally have another location in the kind of the east side of town, and it's a billiards hall. Mm-hmm. They're a bar, restaurant, billiards hall. So the front of Diamonds, if you're coming in from front, it's going to be a billiards hall, bar, restaurant, and then the back where they used to have the video games is now just a full music venue.
All right.
Then the basement is actually a separate separate company. It's a brewery called Mild Wild.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They make a beer?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, they didn't make a beer for. I'm sorry. Did they? Did you ask if they made a beer for our event?
No, just that they make a beer. If it's a brewery, that was me being a smart ass.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. See, that's the thing. I haven't been a smart ass enough on this interview, so I'm trying to get my little jabs in here and there.
Okay.
I'm trying to let you know, get your story out there, and it's like, and that's the thing is like sometimes when I'm talking to someone, it's like, everything you're talking about is so like. You're just very well spoken, very factual. You're giving me things, and it's like I don't want to jump in and like make a dumb joke just to make a dumb joke.
No, don't worry about that. I spent like almost like 6 years. I worked for a market research company, and I did a lot of telephone interviews. So like when I'm on the phone, I have this like customer service interview mode going.
Oh, all right.
I'm a lot funnier in person, I guess.
All right. Well, that's all right. I just, like I said, I don't want to ruin what you're saying by making a dumb joke, but I just, like I said, I'm like, that's why I try to so intently listen to people talk. So I just wait for that one little nugget to grab a hold of. But all right. So anyways, so there's a brewery in the basement. Mm-hmm. And, so how did you end up like scoring this venue?
We were just looking to kind of like shake things up a little bit and looking at new venues. And our president for last year, Josh Duran, actually contacted them and told them about the event. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you can have the venue for free."
Oh, yes. Those are great.
Oh yeah. And we're just like, "Oh yeah." And we couldn't really pass it up. It's so centralized to a lot of cool stuff. Giant parking lot, not super, decent prices on beer and stuff. So,
yeah.
And, they've done all these concerts. So yeah, we were like, "Oh yeah, we'll jump on that."
That's awesome. Yeah. There's nothing like, being able to walk in and having someone see your vision, know what you're doing it for, and offer to, either give you a service or a facility for, nothing, cause they're trying to help you. And it only helps out your charity because it's like less money that you have to spend to cover the cost to cover the venue.
Definitely.
And on top of that, they're a professional venue, so they have a professional staff. They know how to run events. You're going to get a well-staffed, well-run event at a place like that. So this is, now I'm just like, I wish it was this weekend.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I had at the time only had been to one concert there, but I actually went to like 3 in
who did you see there?
Late November and December, and it's like, man, this is gonna be pretty awesome. This place is a lot bigger than I thought. I remember.
Was it the Indigo Girls?
No.
Oh.
I think the first one was Black Dahlia Murder and Suffocation.
Oh my God.
The second one was the Hatebreed, like 30th anniversary or 25th. It was an anniversary album tour, and then the last one was Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, dude, I've always wanted to see Black Dahlia, but that specific tour with Suffocation, like Suffocation's like been one of my all-time favorite like death metal bands since like the early 90s. I love them.
Awesome. Yeah. There's another band I really want to see that I really wanted to see was Necrot from Oakland, California. They were really good.
Oh, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, they definitely check that out. Like, it's just really good, just like straight death metal, like old school stuff.
So you saw, when did you see Cannibal Corpse?
Second or third week of December.
Oh, did their new record come out yet?
Yeah. It's been out for a few months. Yeah. It's not bad. I've heard like half of it.
I still love Kill. That record, just something about the last few they put out have been like really great. I really like the way they've evolved into what they are now.
Yeah.
It just they're chunky, man. They got such a weird groove to them that like no other band in that genre can like seem to get. And that's obviously their sound, but I mean, I've only seen them a few times, and actually I've only seen them with Chris Barnes, way back in the day.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
And
yeah, that was the second time I saw him. I saw him once in Indianapolis, and yeah, it was Corpse Grinder was singing, but yeah, that was like a couple years ago though.
Oh, awesome. Now I'm even more excited to check this place out. These are the type of venues I really love, because this is like, it's almost like coming home for me, because I used to work at a club that, that these were all the bands that came through all the time. So I was always working these shows, and you get to know people and stuff. And that to me, a venue like this is home. It'll be like, I'm really excited about this. Now, okay, so let's dive more into the competition side of it here. But now you have some pretty kick-ass judges.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about some of these people that you have that are going to be judging this event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have, I guess the first announcement we made was Aaron Johnston.
Oh, he's a dick.
Oh, damn.
Him and I don't like each other. We have this like ongoing like rivalry that's been since Worlds last year, and we just all we do is pick on each other all the time. In fact, I love him more than any other guy out there, in a no-mo way. But yeah, we had this great moment at Worlds, and ever since then, him and I have become like really, really close friends. He's great. I love talking to him all the time. And once I found out that he was one of the judges, I was just super excited, and I just been razzing him and teasing him like the whole entire time, because I keep telling him I'm coming, and then the next day I tell him, oh, shit, man, my plans fell through, I can't go. And then I'll tell him again like a couple days later, I'm like, dude, I'm able to go, and I'm like, nah, I can't go, and he keeps getting pissed at me. So as of right now, I am going, but he'll think I'm not going. So, but Aaron's great. Now, why did you pick Aaron?
I mean, we've ran into him a lot at different comps, and we've become friends, and it made sense. Like, he's a world champion. I know he had stated he was coming, and it's just like, we got a world champion on our judging table.
He is a world champion.
Yeah,
and he acts like it too. He's an arrogant motherfucker. I kid, Aaron. I kid. I'm only teasing.
Yeah. We sat down and we just like kind of put out some names, like, we had like the top tier, like, okay, these are like the big names, like, maybe they'll come, but most likely they won't. So that probably leads, but then we had like some people we knew, like who've supported us throughout the years. And, that leads into our next person, Emily Ufinger.
Emily, who is she?
She is based out of St. Louis. So if you know Holly Hurlmeyer.
Yes.
Emily, and then also Lorelai Hanson, they traveled like together almost everywhere.
I think I might have met her then.
Yeah. They travel together everywhere. They're all from St. Louis. And, I think she mentioned that Whiskermania 1 was her first competition.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And, we thought like, they've always been close with us, and, it makes sense to have, one of them be one of our judges.
Absolutely.
And then the next person, Steve Casper.
Oh, Steven.
Out of Cincinnati. I want to say Whiskermania 1 was his first competition too. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. But he won chops in our category, our competition last time.
Was he dressed in his Reds jersey?
He came to our pre-party for Whiskermania 1 in the Reds jersey.
Now, see, when he came to Cleveland, he was competing up here, and he reached out. He's like, he wanted to do a Cleveland Indians that. So I gave him an Indians hat for the event. And so I'm like, keep it. And I'm like, so every time I see him, I razz him. I'm like, why do you never wear your Indians hat? So yeah, Steven's one of those really super awesome guys. Him and his wife are always at events. So, they're just really genuinely great and nice people.
Yeah, they're awesome. And, it always makes sense to have someone from the Cincinnati Beard Barons on because they've, us and them, we've had like a little friendly rivalry for like ever. Cause we're just only an hour and a half away from each other. Yeah,
it's like us in the Steel City Beard and Mustache Club.
Yeah.
They're like literally our best friends, but you always got to pick on them all the time.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm the worst of, running my mouth to them. I think their competition last year, was probably going to be our new party competition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just was just out of my mind drunk, and I think I tried to steal their Rock'em Sock'em Robots tiebreaker.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
So after Steven, who do we have?
We have Brian Nelson.
Now, who's he? I've never heard of this guy before.
Yeah, he's some guy from Texas.
So he must eat a lot of toast.
Yeah.
Brian Nelson. No, he's a funny guy. Now, Brian Nelson is the president of the Austin Facial Hair Club.
Yes.
And I know everyone knows that. And I always like to razz everyone that if you've ever watched that TV show Whisker Wars, which is about competitive bearding, and these guys get together in events and they compete against each other and people get judged and then someone wins and then there's drama. That's the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brian Nelson's a good dude. It's a funny guy. And he was an integral part of putting together the 2017 World Beard and Mustache Championship in Austin, Texas last year. And it was probably one of the most amazing events I've ever been to. I mean, more than any type or style of event I've been to, concert, anything. It was a beautifully put together event. And to be able to keep people entertained for literally 3 days. I mean, they had plenty of things for people to do at the venue. They had, different bands coming in. And then even after, after parties and all that stuff, it was a well planned out weekend. Did you by some chance happen to go to Worlds?
I did not. I kick myself for it. I was totally on board to go. And then I decided to quit my job.
Oh, that always put a wrench in it.
Yeah. I had left my job. I was really stressed out there, and took me a little bit to find a new one. And I actually started working somewhere, but I only been there for a month, so I really just didn't have the money.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. But we did have 6 guys from from Derby City go down there.
Well, I know Patrick was there, of course.
Yeah. We actually, Eric Simpson, who won 3rd in the Short Beard Natural, he was, he's part of our club too.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Brian Nelson, any more?
So our next person, is, Kate Dixon, or, Dingo Kate, my baby.
Kate, my baby?
She is part of our local roller girls team.
Oh, okay.
The Derby City Roller Girls. So that's her roller girl name.
Right.
Is Dingo Kate, my baby. We've always had a close relationship with our the roller girls here. Honestly, for the past 5 seasons, we have volunteered to set up their track when they do local bouts.
Oh, okay.
And we set up their track, and then they allow us to sell merch, and we always, it's one of our fun things we like to do is just help them out. And they always, every year they come and volunteer to, help out with the event. And, we reached out to them, just to have a couple of just non-bearding wild cards out there, judges.
Mm-hmm.
And, they recommended her. And, then our last 6th judge, I actually haven't announced it yet. So this is an exclusive.
Okay.
Granted, it'll probably be announced tomorrow. So.
Oh, well, this won't be out for at least another week and a half or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So. This will be old news, but it's an exclusive right at this very moment, for me at least.
Mm-hmm. So Troy Yoakum, who I mentioned earlier, who's the founder and president of Active Heroes, he is going to be judging for the 3rd time.
Oh, okay.
At the event. He absolutely loves doing it. He absolutely loves the event, and we just can't say no. He has supported us, and we've supported him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, with all this going on, you guys, have the staple categories, I'm sure,
mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a specific, category specifically for your event? Like something that wouldn't be at another event?
I would say we have 2 different ones. The first would be we have a partial beard with styled mustache category.
I did see that, and I was like, that is a different. I've seen it around. I've heard rumblings in the bearding world of that category, but not at many events. Yeah,
and it was really just something we thought of because we've had people who come in who come in with a goatee. I mean, it's really for people with goatee with a styled mustache. And if they do that, they're going to be lumped like we at Whiskermania 1. That they will be lumped in probably with partial beard freestyle.
Yeah,
and it's going to be very hard for them to actually place.
Yeah. No,
so we broke it out because someone with a goatee with a styled mustache, that's a little bit common. Then the other thing we do is we actually split up our full beard with styled mustache categories by length. We have an under 5 inches and we have an over 5 inches.
Okay.
We originally did that. We actually introduced that last year. And the idea was, we did if we have a whole bunch of people that are just in the 0 to 4 natural category who may, want to style their mustache, but they're not going to compete in full beard style mustache because they're going to compete with guys with super long beards and super big mustaches, and maybe to break that up a little bit. So there's not so many people in those natural categories. They have another option.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is sometimes those categories get so filled and it's it'd be nice to be able to break them up a little bit more to give everyone a chance. I mean, that's, it's got to be frustrating. I mean, I know when I was in my my category at Worlds, I got 30 some guys in it, and it's frustrating because it's usually you're doing an event and in the goatee category, you're battling at least a dozen guys, at the most. But some of these categories, you're going under 5 or under 6 inches, you got 30, 40 guys in the category, and it's tough to stand out.
No, definitely. I mean, and I've been doing full beard style mustache almost my whole tenure in competitive bearding, and I tend to always have the shortest beard. Just because mine doesn't grow super long, and if the longer it gets, the kind of crappier it looks. So it's always nice. Okay, maybe I could do this, shorter beard with a styled mustache and maybe have a little fighting chance. Yeah.
I mean, you gotta adapt. I mean, that's pretty much it. For me, I've always done fairly well in the goatee category, but my last couple comps that I've gone to, I've done my whole career kind of started off super strong. I finished, I was getting firsts and seconds, for the first couple years. And then it kind of slowly worked my way down, and I was kind of, more new guys were coming in, which was cool. And then I stopped competing for a good year. I didn't want to really have anything to do with it. And then I started the podcast and I started going out to more events again. And then I just got rejuvenated into the whole thing. And I've been having so much more fun now, but we recently just got a puppy, and the little motherfucker's chewing the hell out of my beard. And so I'm going, shit, man, I got to take off a good inch or two off of mine now. And I know there's a lot of people out there going, thank God. But I know I'm never going to beat Aaron Johnston. I mean, at least not for the next few years, but I'm out for blood for that, against that bitch.
Yeah. I mean, I think going back to kind of my early going to the first few comps, my first comp, I got 3rd place, and I thought I was the hot shit.
Hey man, that's the nice thing, that sometimes that's what it takes to get someone literally hooked into it.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes for me, that was my mindset why I stopped competing. I'm I don't want to keep competing because I want other people to get a chance to get hooked too. I mean, that's the only way we're going to be able to get, the more people involved in the scene and everything. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And in my story, I think, I got 3rd place in that category, and I don't think I placed for another 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's always fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's for a good cause. We're out there having fun, and hanging out with friends, this whole new family of people that we've made that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And every time I talk to someone on the podcast, it's I feel like I'm gaining a new friend. And it's when I get to the venue and I meet them, and I'm pretty sure you and I have obviously crossed paths before because we've been to the same competitions and stuff, but it's nice to you and I can have a conversation now. When you get to these events, there's 85 people that both of us know. And it's so hard to just go around and have a full meaningful conversation with someone. because there's so many people that you want to talk to, or you're sitting behind stage calculating shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And Whiskermania 2 was like the first one. Like I was actually out about in the crowd and everything. I was kind of handling like volunteers, making sure, people got off their shifts and stuff like that. And even then, like I was still like so high strung and I was just everywhere hyperactive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like,
that's
the
life of an event organizer.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So let's wrap this up here. But the one last thing I want to talk about is the pre-party information. Like what's the deal on the pre-party the night before?
So the pre-party, I know we just announced that like last week. It's going to start out at Merle's Whiskey Kitchen, which is just fried chicken, bourbon. They have tacos, restaurant. They're giving us a private room in the back to kind of just have our own little thing going on. But they'll have like country bands, I think, playing. Stuff like that, everybody, hang out, get dinner, get some drinks in them. And then, we're going to move the party across the street. Where it's located is like right in the heart of downtown Louisville, not too far from the host hotel. But it's right across the street from what we call Whiskey Row, which are these old buildings. It looks like one big building. But, there's been some restaurants and bars, a couple of restaurants and bars like opened up on one side. They just opened like a Duluth Trading Company on the other side. Ooh. And then the rest of it is going to be Old Forester, basically the Old Forester micro distillery.
Cool.
At some point, there's a lot of repairs. It's a very old building that and then they also opened like condos upstairs, but very old building they've been rehabbing. So we're going to move across the street to actually a bar or restaurant called O'Shea's, or Patrick O'Shea's, which is an Irish-themed pub.
I would have never gotten that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I'm like kind of pissed that I'm not coming down the night before because this sounds, it's like all these little towns or all these cities that I get to travel to now for all these competitions. It's like I wish I had like more than like 1 day there or 2 days there because there's just so many. Every city where there's a comp, there's like so many great things to experience, and it's like, but then it gives you a good reason to go back the next year.
Oh, definitely. Like I know the first Cleveland comp I went to, I think it was the last one you guys did at Gore.
Mm-hmm.
We drove up the day of, like we left at 6 a.m. here, and it's about a 5-hour drive. And we got into town about lunch, and we went to Melt, and then went into our hotel, and went to the comp, and then kind of left. And it was just like
in and out too fast.
Yeah, I mean, and in the next year at the first Beards behind bars,
mm-hmm.
me and Josh, we came up. I took I think I took a half day. No, I wasn't working, so he took a half day, and then we drove. We hit some insane traffic, and we finally got there about 5:00 in Mansfield on Friday, and we did the whole weekend, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't able to be there last year, but this year I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah, same here.
I mean, hey, we'll be able to hang out a little bit more at that one this time because I'm sure you're going to be busy as all hell when this event comes up. But hopefully we get a chance to meet up and we'll have a beer together.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that you're a drinker, because earlier you said you weren't a drinker, now all of a sudden you are.
Yeah, I started drinking like a month before the first Whiskermania.
Oh my God, the beard's corrupted you.
Yeah, well, I was the DD for a long time for the club.
Hey, you got to let your hair down now too.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
All right, cool, Ryan. Well, do you guys have a website or anything? I mean, I've been taking notes. I'm going to be putting tons of links in the show notes. So people, if they want to look any of the stuff up that we talked about, I'm going to have links to all that stuff. But is there anything specifically that you guys do? Does the Derby City Whisker Club have their own website other than a Facebook page?
We do not. So like,
oh, come on, man, get into the 2000s.
Yeah.
My grandma has a website.
Yeah, we started working on one and then just like kind of fell through the cracks. But Facebook at Derby City Whisker Club, that's probably our main page. And we have the Whiskermania 3 event page. And then we're on Instagram at Derby City Whisker Club too.
All right.
And we try to stay pretty active on that one too.
Very cool, buddy. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out tonight to talk to me. Like I said, I was really excited to talk to you. And as I looked more into this, I got super excited. And then talking to you more tonight, I really cannot wait to come down. And I mean, we're rolling in with a lot of people. So
yeah, I know. Are you staying at Airbnb too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm just excited to see everyone. The comp sounds great. And I can't wait to be there, but I'm just so excited to see everyone and meet everyone and talk to people. And it's more of a social event for me now. But I still like to compete a little bit, but it's made the competition is more turned into like a friendly rivalry between like I said, like Aaron and then Andrew from up in where is he from? He's from
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Dude, I love that guy. He is so great.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually stayed in my hotel room in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we met. Yeah, we met.
All right. Yeah, Aaron's a great guy, or Andrew. Sorry, pardon me.
Yeah.
But I've met so many great people that I can't wait to see them again. It's like they're going to be there. Oh, this is great. This is going to make it so much more exciting and more fun.
So. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But once again, thank you so much, Ryan. I wish you the best success with this. I know it's going to be great. I know it's going to be an awesome event. And everyone that's listening to this, hopefully we see you out there. Stop by, say hi. And I guess that's it for tonight. So thank you again, Ryan. And
thank you. Yeah.
We'll be talking to you in the future.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And cut. Thanks again, Ryan Gore, for taking the time out of your evening to sit down and talk with me and tell me all about Whiskermania and how it started and where it's grown to and how you got involved in the community and all the awesome things you guys are doing. It's really awesome that you guys are doing this to help the Active Heroes, which is a charity that helps aid military families and works to prevent veteran suicide. Suicide is just a horrible thing, and I know that veterans coming back obviously have a harder time assimilating back to culture, and a lot of them do definitely go the route of committing suicide, and anything we can do to help keep that down, the better, because I know everyone has probably lost someone to suicide, be it a friend or whatever. Anything we can do to help those people out, I highly stand behind. But I want to thank Ryan again, and the event. Just please, if you guys want to find out more information, there's links in the show notes and the blog, so you can find out that there. So anything that we talked about, I'll have it right there for you. And that's pretty much it. So like I said, once again, if you need any more information on me, go to thebeardcaster.com. You can find all the different ways to subscribe. You can find all the different ways to get a hold of me via social media. And Scott at thebeardcaster.com is my direct line to just send me an email about anything you want to talk to. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, if you just want to say, hey, what's up? Hey, by all means, just shoot me an email and we'll talk. Why not? And maybe the last thing I'll ask you all to do is, normally what I do is I say, hey, why don't you tell a friend about the podcast? Let's spread the word, spread the love. I'm going to say, if you subscribe to my podcast via any of the things you may subscribe via, like Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio or Spotify or whatever, why don't you give me a rating and a review? That'd be something nice to do today. I mean, why not? Why not? But I guess that'll be it. So just give me a rating and review wherever you listen to me at. Email me, let me know where you listen to me at. If there's some place that you want to listen to me at, I'll look into getting there. If it's in an elevator, I can't help you unless you tell me where you're going to be, and then I'll stand in the elevator and do commentary or something for you, and then we can do an interview there. Then that's about the only way I'll be able to get into an elevator. But at that, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and we shall be talking to you. We shall be, not we. Listen to me. I got a little stutter there. I'm like French. But I don't even know what I was going to say. But I'm going to leave this all in there because I have fun making fun of myself because now I feel like I'm my wife because all she does is pick on me about the way I talk. And I said, you know what? At least with my podcast, I can edit that stuff out. When I talk to you, I can't. So now I just feel stupid. But hey, I want to feel stupid in front of everyone. Okay, everyone, enjoy your week until we talk again. Do something good for someone, and I'm out. Ciao.